was there hated the day. The day was a miserable day. I mean, it was a...
Really? I thought...
Well, I can tell you now, it was the worst royal engagement I ever did, a royal wedding I ever did. You know, I thought to myself, you know, this is all showbiz rubbish.
You're absolutely right. I mean, what I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man, and she targeted, there's no doubt she targeted Harry.
The whole thing was just stage managed to suit them.
This is not the Harry he was a few years ago. And the only reason he's not like that is he's following the requests of Meghan. He said himself, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets.
And so he was angry, and I felt, you know, we were punished for that.
What really happened behind Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's royal wedding? On television, it looked like a picture-perfect fairy tale, with every moment carefully planned. But according to people who were there, the story behind the scenes may have been far more complicated than most viewers ever realized. Over the years, several royal photographers and commentators have shared their own accounts of what they witnessed that day. One of them is Arthur Edwards, a veteran royal photographer who spent decades covering the royal family. After traveling with Queen Elizabeth II, King Charles, and other senior royals, he was invited to attend the wedding because of his long connection with the royal household.
And the photographers they engaged for the job was 5 feet away. You know, it was just hopeless. And then the carriage shot, when they went past me in the carriage, they looked the other way. So for me, it was a disaster. And
well, was that deliberate? You were made to feel unwelcome
I
at the
felt
wedding?
so. I felt it wasn't just me; it was the whole of the British press.
Looking back, Edwards said Harry appeared frustrated with parts of the staff and the media, and he felt that photographers faced unusual restrictions that made doing their jobs much harder. Before getting into those disagreements, Edwards also spoke about what he described as poor planning in other areas of the event. Because he was attending in an official capacity, he wore the traditional royal outfit expected for the occasion. The problem was that the outfit felt much heavier than what anyone would normally wear to a summer ceremony. The clothing was so bulky that it looked better suited for cold weather, even though the wedding took place during a warm season. Edwards said the heat became overwhelming, and standing outside in those heavy clothes for hours was extremely uncomfortable.
I think, you know, I've done some really lovely royal weddings. Both King Charles's weddings. I did William's wedding. I did Andrew's wedding. I did Sophie and Edward. You know, I mean, they were lovely occasions. But that today, I couldn't get out of Windsor quick enough. I promise you that.
The worst royal wedding.
According to his account, guests had expected shaded seating, but that protection never appeared. Instead, everyone had to sit under the blazing sunshine. Even famous celebrities reportedly struggled with the heat. Rather than trying to stay perfectly composed, many guests were seen using their wedding programs as makeshift fans just to cool themselves down. The glamorous television broadcast didn't show how uncomfortable things felt for many people sitting outside. For some guests, watching the ceremony from home might have sounded like the easier option once the heat became impossible to ignore. Then there were the challenges surrounding the guest list. According to Edwards, the wedding planners originally worked with a specific attendance number and organized everything around those estimates.
That happened on the actual wedding day itself. The guest list, beyond the lone family member she invited, was simply inviting celebrities who were total strangers to her. I could see, especially with a wedding of this scale, inviting a handful of people who you do not know, but certainly not to this extent. There were a huge amount of guests who she had never met. Some people didn't even come. Like, for example, Reese Witherspoon said, "Why would I go? I don't even know them."
They even included a small backup allowance in case a few extra guests needed to be accommodated. On paper, everything seemed carefully organized. However, Edwards claimed the situation changed as preparations continued. He alleged that additional celebrity guests, including Oprah Winfrey, Elton John, Tyler Perry, and several other well-known names, were added to the event. Whether or not every invitation came together in the way described, Edwards said the late additions created extra pressure for planners who suddenly had to adjust seating, security, and other logistics at the last minute. As difficult as the heat and planning issues may have been, Edwards said the seating arrangements created another surprise. For photographers, where people are seated can make all the difference because it determines what important moments they can actually capture. But according to Edwards, things didn't unfold the way he expected. He recalled that several senior royal figures and long-serving members of the royal circle were seated farther back. while many celebrity guests were placed closer to the front. Edwards believed that decisions stood out because many of those celebrities had little connection to royal duties or the monarchy itself.
Most of that interview was left on the cutting room floor because it was so one-sided and it was so unfair. When I think about watching it now and you know the bit about Archie and the colour of his skin, I knew they'd be seething. I knew the Queen would be seething. I knew that the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles would be seething. It would be.
He even joked that from where he was sitting among other guests, following the ceremony felt almost like trying to watch everything through a GPS screen instead of having a clear view. The discussion didn't end after the wedding either. Edwards has also spoken publicly about what happened in the years that followed, saying he believed Harry and Meghan's growing distance from the royal family became increasingly clear. Their interview with Oprah attracted worldwide attention after they raised concerns about their experiences within royal life, including claims involving racism and mistreatment. Edwards has said he questioned parts of that account and did not personally agree with every claim that was made. Some commentators have even speculated that Oprah's invitation to the wedding later became significant because of the interview, although that remains speculation rather than an established fact. Another voice who has offered strong opinions is author Tom Bauer. Bauer has argued that the relationship developed with careful planning rather than pure romance. Those views remain his interpretation and have been widely debated, but they have become part of the larger public discussion surrounding the couple.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, what I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013 onwards, when her marriage had crashed and she couldn't find anyone in Canada at the time. And she wanted wealth and she wanted fame. And she targeted, there's no doubt she targeted Harry and found someone who was a childhood friend of his who could introduce them. And then on the days before they met at their blind meeting in a club in London, she researched Harry very carefully and knew exactly what buttons to press.
According to Bauer, Meghan had long hoped to build relationships with people who held greater social influence and status. He argues that meeting Prince Harry became a major turning point in her life. Bauer also claims that after her previous marriage to Trevor Engelson ended, her relationship with Harry moved forward quickly and eventually led to marriage. These claims have been disputed by others and reflect Bauer's perspective rather than established fact. Bauer has also pointed to reports that Prince William encouraged Harry to take more time before making such an important decision. According to those reports, William suggested slowing the relationship down instead of rushing toward marriage. Harry ultimately chose his own path, and that decision has remained one of the most talked about moments in modern royal history. Instead, according to Tom Bauer, Harry's focus was completely on moving forward with the wedding, while Meghan was eager to begin the next chapter of her life and meet some of the world's most influential people. Bauer also claims that when disagreements started building around parts of the wedding plans, Meghan changed her approach and focused on strengthening her bond with Harry above everything else.
On earth can he stay with her? And the same then happened when they went to Tommy Inskip's wedding in Jamaica, which is a great friend of Harry's, who in the end was banned from the dinner after their wedding.
Yeah, well, I know at least 3 of the very good friends were apparently
banned, all by Meghan.
And then they saw all these celebrities filing it.
Exactly.
Who'd known her about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
According to Bauer's account, Meghan wanted Harry's complete trust and loyalty. He alleges that she encouraged Harry to keep the wedding centered mainly on the two of them, and that some of Harry's longtime friends and close companions were not included in the celebration. Harry reportedly agreed with those decisions. If those accounts are accurate, a wedding that many expected to be filled with lifelong friends looked very different than people imagined. That naturally leaves many people asking one question: what do you call a wedding where several of the groom's closest friends are missing? It's a question that has fueled debate ever since, with different people reaching very different conclusions. Then there's the celebrity guest list. According to Bauer, inviting so many famous names may have served a bigger purpose than simply celebrating the wedding.
That was just so disgraceful, what she said, what Harry said. And I'm a monarchist, and I just don't think she should have been allowed to say those things unchallenged by Oprah Winfrey. It was scandalous. So I embarked on this book to actually understand what sort of person actually launches that sort of unfair, untrue attack on the royal family.
He argues that Meghan was also building relationships within the entertainment world in case her future eventually took a different direction. That remains Bauer's interpretation, but it's one that has received plenty of attention. The wedding featured a long list of A-list celebrities, and at the time, many people simply believed Meghan was blending her Hollywood background with royal life. Bauer, however, believes those invitations also helped create valuable connections with influential figures years before Harry and Meghan eventually stepped away from royal duties. Whether people agree or disagree, that theory continues to spark discussion. Looking back, some commentators now see the wedding as the beginning of a much larger story. Before the ceremony, public tensions inside the royal family appeared relatively quiet, but over the following years, everything changed. Harry released his memoir Spare, sharing deeply personal stories about his family. Then came the Oprah interview, where Harry and Meghan discussed their experiences inside royal life. After that, their Netflix projects brought even more private family matters into public view. Bauer believes those events trace back to the period surrounding the wedding, although others strongly disagree with that assessment. Then royal biographer Angela Leven entered the conversation with her own experiences. Leven was working on Prince Harry's biography in 2017, and near the end of the project, she visited him to complete the final interviews. What happened during that visit left a lasting impression on her. According to Leven, one of Harry's aides quietly pulled her aside before the meeting and gave her a serious warning. The aide reportedly advised her to be extremely careful whenever Meghan's name came up because Harry had become very sensitive whenever discussions turned toward his relationship. At that point, Harry and Meghan's engagement had not yet been officially announced, even though wedding preparations were already underway behind the scenes. Leven says the warning immediately caught her attention because it seemed unusually direct. She claims the aide told her that asking too many questions about Meghan could upset Harry so much that he might end the interview altogether.
And I think that Meghan never wants to come back here because she hated the country and she hated being a member of the royal family, and she's not someone who wants to take sixth position. Harry's sixth in line to the throne. She didn't like that. She wants to be out there in front. So she doesn't want to come.
Leven has said she viewed that moment as an early sign that Harry's behavior was changing. In her opinion, Meghan already held considerable influence over Harry well before she officially joined the royal family. That is Leven's personal view, and others may see the situation differently. Then came one of the most talked about stories surrounding the wedding, the tiara discussion. Not every royal tiara is available for every event, and tradition plays a major role in those decisions. According to Leven, Meghan initially hoped to wear an emerald tiara that has been described as having Russian origins. Leven says that request reportedly raised concerns because of the tiara's historical background. Queen Elizabeth is said to have decided against approving that choice, and Meghan ultimately wore a different tiara for the ceremony. Various accounts of this story exist, and some details have been disputed over the years. Leven also argues that life inside the royal family requires accepting unique responsibilities and traditions. In her opinion, Harry and Meghan eventually wanted a different kind of life than the institution expected from senior working royals. Even after Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, Leven believes Queen Elizabeth remained composed despite any disappointment she may have felt. Leven has suggested that the Queen was not entirely surprised by the couple's decision. That reflects Leven's interpretation rather than a confirmed account of the Queen's private thoughts. Leven has consistently described Queen Elizabeth as someone who treated people fairly regardless of their position. She believes Harry and Meghan and the royal family ultimately had very different expectations about what royal life should look like, leading both sides down separate paths. Leven has also shared her opinion that Meghan plays a major role in many of Harry's important decisions. She believes Harry often values Meghan's advice before making significant choices and has suggested that Meghan contributes to some of his speeches and public messaging. Those are Leven's views, and they remain part of the ongoing public debate surrounding the couple. So there you have it, from behind-the-scenes stories shared by Arthur Edwards to the opinions of Tom Bauer and Angela Leven. These accounts continue to fuel debate about what really happened before, during, and after Harry and Meghan's royal wedding. Some people believe these claims, while others strongly challenge them, but one thing is certain, the conversation surrounding that famous wedding isn't ending anytime soon. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Drop your thoughts and comments down below. We'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.